Hello, Fredak here. Fred ACC, all one word. Alrighty, it is July the 9th, Wednesday. It's about 7:30 a.m. East Coast time. XRP is at $2.34. It might just be on the verge of a huge breakout. And I realize, first up, I thank you all for being here today. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I really wanted to get this out here early in the day today because I don't want to be redboarding it after the fact. But I am of the belief, and it's just what I think from what I'm watching, that XRP is on the verge of a huge breakout to the upside. And I'm going to elaborate on all that. But first, I have to start out by talking about the scammers. There's going to be a lot of information on this posting. Interesting stuff. Fredak has a couple of notes jotted down. I don't want to miss out on anything. And I tend to sometimes forget the things that I wanted to put out to you guys. So I scribbled down a word here, a word there. I got out of bed early, about 3 a.m., started to look at a few different things, catch a few talking heads, see what all the experts are thinking. That's what gives me my notes. And I think I already thanked you all for being here, but I do thank you all for being here, and I really appreciate the comments. That's kind of what gets me to come on back here. The handful of you that leave comments down below, good, bad, ugly, whatever they might be, I really do enjoy them. And I have to make a stronger effort to get back on there and leave comments back to those who do comments for me. But I do thank you for all of them, the good, the bad, the ugly. Hit the thumbs up, smash, what do they say, smash the likes button or the don't likes button or whatever you got to do. That's all good with me. This is not how I derive my income. I'm on here to try to share some of the thoughts swirling around in my head with you guys. As I've stated many, many times, knowledge is power. The more knowledge you absorb, the more power you have in the world. Whether it's automobiles, technology, computers, financial world, whatever it might be, the more knowledge you grasp, the better off you're going to be. With all that being said, this is not financial advice. These are just the ideas that are swirling around in Fredak's head. Alrighty, let's see what we got. Let's take a peek at the notes here. So XRP is at about $2.34. And those of you who do subscribe and are following along with Fredak know that I dabbled into the XXRP ETF. Bought in it, I think it was $23.66. It's up around $28 and change. A little bit of a surge up, and I'll probably look to take the profits to the sidelines. Probably, not guaranteed. We shall see. Alrighty, where do I start with all this? The first thing I have written here is volume, volume, volume. Volume is your best friend. And I've said that in many other postings. And I hope some of you have a notebook and you're starting to scribble down some notes. And by all means, as I've professed many times on here, you have to check out and do your homework for everybody, including Fredak. Because unfortunately, the way that it tends to work out there in the real world is that those people that are selling swampland in Tennessee or the side of a mountain in Utah, they're going to sound very, very knowledgeable. And there's an education within the education of a lot of my postings. This should probably be a whole separate posting, but most people that get dumped into something that turns out to be quasi a scam or a complete scam, those who are portraying the aura, they're selling the hope and the hype to somebody who is interested in boats, boating, or whatever. They find the thing that the individual triggers them, and that's what they go after. And the way that it's done, from what I understand of it all, is that if you sit in a chair back with your arms folded, they'll sit back in a chair with their arms folded and speak to you. If you're leaning forward, they try to mirror image your posture. If they can figure out that you're of a certain religious following, they'll wear that particular gold necklace and profess to be Mormon, Jewish, whatever it might be, that they can start to parallel with you. What do they need to do? They have to gain your trust. They have to get you on board with them. Most people do not throw away tons of money on some ridiculous thing that they thought was a ridiculous thing. No, it doesn't work that way. And we're going to delve into a whole lot more of that. That's some of the notes that I have on here. The biggest charade of them all, but I'm bouncing around a whole lot. Alrighty, so where are we going here? Volume, volume, volume. Volume is your best friend. That's how you read the tea leaves. That is why I believe, and it's just what I believe. Like I say, you listen to Fred Act, garbage in, garbage out. And I'm trying not to be redundant. And I'm also trying to keep you guys focused to stay with the game plan. Because if you listen to the talking heads, and maybe I'm doing that to you also, try to be fair-minded in that. I've noticed when I listen to these talking heads, one day they're posting it's going to 500 XRP, the next day they're posting this, I think that. Nobody really cares what anybody thinks. What I think really doesn't mean all that much. What matters is that the price of XRP is at $2.34. That's what matters. That's what it is in the concrete world. All the fluff and bull doesn't put money in your pocket, the bottom line. But volume is your best friend, and I've noticed a lot of, if they're legitimate, and I'm not sure that they are, but I think that they are, I see these 1 minute large amounts, 48 million, 50 million of XRP fluttering through. I have to start to wonder what's going on behind the scenes. There's accumulation going on. And when you have accumulation like this, that seems to portend an upward surge. That's what I've noticed over the years. Excuse me. Get back to these notes. Okay, so, and I might be bouncing around a little bit, and I apologize for all of that. There's so much noise out there. The Bollinger Bands, the Fibonacci's, the Elliott waves, etc., and on, and yada, 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 yada. Okay. To try to understand all the blabble that's out there, yada, 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 that's out there. Okay, why do I not believe in it? I'm glad you asked. Hello? These things become valid because the large masses of us human beings tend to follow these things. If it makes a lot of sense. It's the Fibonacci, it's this, it's the Elliott wave. There's this plan, there's that plan. If you match up the graph the right way and you hold it up this way and that way, it makes sense. And if you get enough people to follow that, which is where something called the support level in the stock market and the resistance level, you hear about these terminologies. The resistance level is at $81.46. If it breaks through that, it's going a lot higher. Well, guess what? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because there's tens of thousands of us that are following that resistance level. Or if it breaks the support level, they'll have this price that they've derived from the 50-day moving average or the 200-day moving. It's all baloney anyway. But what matters is that the masses are going to act on that a certain way, which you and I need to understand. You have to start to understand these things. If you want to play in the big game, if you want to pee in the tall weeds, you got to start to think like the big dogs. Becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Hello? Hopefully that makes sense. In my opinion, there's not enough of a following of XRP. I mean, the crypto world is starting to be known. It's out there, kind of like eBay was 30 years ago. People understood when eBay was used as a one-liner joke in in a Spider-Man movie or whatever. Well, I saw it on eBay, or I bought it on eBay. Oh, people understood it. They might not have been involved with eBay, but so people are aware of Bitcoin. And I'm sure there's some fools out there that actually bought some coin from somebody that had a B on it. And like, this is the Bitcoin and it's worth 20,000. Look here. But I'm going to sell it to you for only 11,000. You'll have this Bitcoin. Scam jobby all the way. But those things are out there. They've been out there forever. You got to be careful out there. Of all the, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Mom and grandmom's axiom. Keep it close to heart. Keep it close to your pocket. Okay. I just don't think there's enough of a following for most of the crypto Johnny, crypto grandma, smoke said this, crypto this and that, all the names of stupidity and whatever they are. Not stupidity, but everybody's got their moniker. I probably should have a different one. I don't know what moniker I should have had, but we went with Fred Act. That's what we're staying with. All one word. Fred ACC, all one word. Alrighty, so we had Crypto Johnny, Crypto Grandma, Smoke, and all the others. Yada, yada. Who cares? They think this and they think that. I try not to think anything, but I guess I probably do. But I will let this just play out. I'm not thinking it's going to go to this and I'm going to sell it if it hits $4 or $14 or $48. I just don't know. Who actually had a thought that Ethereum or Bitcoin would do what they would do? Or any of the big name stocks, the ones that never got out of the frying pan? You don't know who they are. Nobody knows who they are, so it's a non-event. But naturally, those that are looking at NVIDIA, oh, if only I knew. Well, nobody knows. I don't know. I don't profess to know. My fear is that all of you guys out there that are on board with me with this, that have a game plan, you could get tired, get worn out. It just seems to drag on and on and on. Got to have a long-term game plan. You make a decision. I'm going to give this 2 years or 3 years or 2 months or 3, whatever it might be. Because the last thing you want to do is linger on this thing here since we surged over $3 back 4 or 5 months ago and listen to all the talking heads that are telling you it's going to do this and it's going to do that and then you just get worn out and you're like, you know what, I'm going to move on. I can make more money elsewhere. Well, maybe you can and maybe you can't. And I dabbled in this XXRP, this ETF. Schools are still out on this. I haven't done enough homework research into it to bring it forward to you guys, but I have shared the thought of maybe start to take a notice of it. Has a decent sized management fee, 1.89%. I don't think it's a scam company, but you just never know. Always got to be cautious of everything that's out there. Still, could this be something, since it's a 2x bull, for the movement of XRP? If XRP spikes $1, will this double or triple in price from $28.50, $29 up to $59? I don't know. Not sure. Gotta start to watch it. Okay. Where are we at with our notes over here? What do we got? We spoke about the scammers. I'm of the thought with these volume little 1 minute spikes, I'm seeing 48 million, 50 million, 60 million trading through. Are they valid? Yeah, well, I'm not 100% positive of it. I'll assume that it's somewhat valid, that these large amounts are going through, and I hope that it is. If so, with these larger numbers, there's some kind of accumulation going on. Okay. All right, what do we got here? The game intensifies. How? Hello, I'm glad you asked. Analogy thing here is, and I've posted this in the past, if the old man who's a tremendous fisherman is at the pier and he's catching fish, and the man comes over and he says, my family, we haven't eaten in 3-4 days, we're so hungry, can you catch us a fish? You're very good. Everyone says you're the best fisherman out here. Sure, hold on a moment. Pulls in a nice fish. Says, here you go. Go and eat with the family. They're going to eat well that day. They'll be okay for the next half a day, next day. 2 days later, they're hungry again. They're like, where's the old man? Like, does anybody know where the old man is? Oh, unfortunately, he passed away. Whereas if you would have learned how to fish from the old man, then the young man could fish every day and feed the family. Transfer that analogy over to the big money world of the investment world. Alrighty, so the game is intensifying. Why do I say that? Because the scammers are coming to the biggest casino that's out there. What is the biggest scam out there? It's the Wall Street world. It's this huge multi-trillion dollar slushing around of money. And you're going to get all different types out there. And there's so much money involved. And I had a personal recollection of this 30, 40 years ago in my youth. Let's delve into all this. It's the legal casino. Hello! And they all sound very knowledgeable, whatever it is that they're hawking. Now, this is something that I'm going to bring up. I was watching something 4 or 5 hours ago about this stock it was almost like an infomercial. The infomercial spoke about this certain NASDAQ stock that all the snippets from it all sounded so wonderful. It's like the swampland in Tennessee or the side of the mountain in Utah. I'm like, yeah, let me go take a look at this stock. Sure enough, when this infomercial started spinning a couple of days ago, the stock went from $2 and something cents up to $5.90. So I do a little bit of digging on the infomercial. They have the CEO. He's got a lifetime of Wall Street experience. He's in front of the nice desk. He's got everything behind him. Now, I'm not pointing this out as anything specific towards this. I wish I had the stock symbol here. But I did check out the stock symbol. The interesting thing about it was that the CEO has, how many shares does he have? He has, okay, where is it over here? The stock symbol, and I'm not advising any of you to be buying this. This is for educational purposes only. You can learn something from this. You can learn how the big money game is played. You're getting it from Fred Ack. This is why you subscribe to this channel, so that you might actually learn how the big picture is out there. The stock symbol is BTCS. I'm not recommending to buy it. I'm not recommending to short it, because you don't know what's going to happen. Shorting is dangerous because it could spike a lot higher. And if there's a large short interest, which I should cover in another topic, in another long-winded posting, but if there's a tremendous amount of shares that have been shorted, they have to be replaced. So as the price rises, the people that have shorted are the individuals, whoever has shorted the stock, they're losing money. So the higher it goes, the more money they're losing. And if it starts to run too high, there's these things called house calls, Mr. Margin. Hello, we need more money, otherwise we're selling your position. On the short side, that means we're going to go in and buy at the market, because brokerage firms are not in the business of extending huge credits to people that are going to walk away and say, sorry, I don't have the money, but it's all yours, you can have it. So the moment you pass over the threshold that you have no more money to back that short interest, or if it's a long position that's dropping and you're on margin, they just sell what's needed instantly. They don't care. They have teams, crack teams, that are watching the board for anything that pops up. They're going to reach out to you, possibly, and they don't even have to. And within moments, if you're not on top of it and the price is dropping and you're long the stock and you're on margin, if you've lost your equity on it, boop, they're selling it, selling at the market, which is driving it even lower. Or on the reverse of that, on the short side of it, they're buying at the market, which is driving the price even higher, which is hurting all the other shorts that are out there. So there's this game within the game that's going on. And that's something that you need to start to understand. And I think this is a good opportunity to be watching this. So this BTCS, a month ago it was $2.85, $2.90. Now they have this infomercial running, and it sounds like it's the future of pure leukemia, baldness, whatever. That's not what they're all about. They're about something. They're about the cryptocurrency world. And the financial world is the world where the greatest amount of flim-flammers gravitate to. Now the learning lesson is here is that you can pick out certain people that run certain companies. And you can create your own little dossier of these people that are lifetime scammers. And I'm not saying that's the case with this particular company and this particular stock. I don't know it at all. But with a little bit of homework that I did, and I don't even, not 100% sure the information is valid, you have to do your homework. You gotta check it. You gotta do your homework. Like Fred Ack always says, check everybody. Check Fred Ack. Okay, so like I've said, do not be buying this. Do not be shorting it. This is for learning only, for informational purposes only. Okay, the CEO of the company, he owns how many? He owns 8 million shares of this particular stock. So when you have these infomercials that are so knowledgeable and they're so tailored to this thing being the greatest thing since slicing bread or whatever you want to call it, the discovery of penicillin or whatever, there's a lot that could be going on. Insiders could be unloading stock that they own, that they bought at 6 cents or at a penny, or they got it for free. Also, the big money out there, the market makers, they know what's going on. They'll let it surge up to a certain level, and they have a tremendous amount of firepower at their arsenal. I mean, there's some that are out that have billions and billions of dollars. It's endless. They will start shorting it off of the offering. If the bid is $5.81, the offer is $5.85, they're going to be there to sell at $5.84 constantly, and even tapping the bid prices and shorting it, hitting the bid, which I don't know how it is now, but many years ago that was considered, there was a thing called the uptick rule. You couldn't just short a stock into oblivion. Why? Because that happened 150 years ago, 100 years ago, early 1900s. People like J.P. Morgan, they'd get together drinking that expensive brandy in their mahogany at the time $1 million, which would now be billion-dollar homes, and they'd be talking with each other, and they'd be like, oh yeah, U.S. Steel, we might start to short that. And it would turn into a shorting frenzy. It would just mercilessly pound the price down from $91 down to $81 to $71 to $65 to $35. Just mercilessly sell, and then look to buy when it had bottomed out. So there's so many games within the game that are going on. And the big money out there, the market makers, they're aware of this, that they've had this huge surge up. Depends on what the surge up is based on. And it also depends if you have some ability to have accurate information to know if the shorting interest is increasing, or if you're starting to see large blocks of shares being either shorted or offered out. It's probably not going to be the individual. Like, you have to kind of try to think the big picture. Something like Bitcoin at 108,000. You and I, the Fred Acts of the world, the Joe Schmoes, the 9-to-5ers, we're not buying and selling and wheeling and dealing with a lot of Bitcoins. This has been passed along to the big money people. It's their game to play. And they're battling against each other, which makes it a little more difficult. They don't have the small people to chop up into shreds, which is why those groups are probably going to start to feed towards easier feeding areas of the 9-to-5ers, if that makes any sense, the Fred Acts of the world, which is why they're going to gravitate down to something, which I think very well could be the XRP. I personally think that just what I think, that it might be one of the somewhat best kept secrets out there. And there might even be things that are going on behind the scenes with all this. Because some of it all doesn't completely make sense. But okay, I saw something on it that the CEO had sold this BTCS 200,000 of the shares at 60 cents each in April of 2023. Now, we are in July of 2025, and I realize that's over 2 years ago. And you have to be prepared for the thought, and there's going to be tremendous money-making opportunities, both to the upside and the downside, for those of you who are using the brains and you're following things. Get some notebooks, take some notes, start to watch how the game is being played. Learn. What more can I tell you? Okay. What I have here, it's all P.T. Barnum. P.T. Barnum and Bailey's Circus, the guy that started the bearded lady, the two-headed this, that, whatever it might be. It's P.T. Barnum at its best. That's what the whole stock market is all about. It's all based on bullspit. And he had said, hello. He didn't say hello, that's Fred Ack. But he said there's a sucker born every day, and there's two to take them. The financial world is one of the best white-collar criminal places, activity. There's trillions of dollars slushing around. There are people that are like the most ruthless, lack of moral people that gravitate to that world. And I posted something on this. You got to go back and subscribe and look at some of the Fred Act postings. I don't even know what the title of it was, but it was about the chop. Back with the NASDAQ stocks, it explained it all. I gave it all to you. All you got to do is go watch it. P.T. Barnum, a sucker born every day. That's the finance, and that's what it's all starting to gravitate to. All right, the swampland we spoke about, buying the side of a mountain in Tennessee. What else we got here? The volume. Don't get shaken out. The important thing to learn from today's posting is that with the proliferation of the crypto world, as it begins to saturate the masses, the thought of the big money being made, Bitcoin has already laid down the groundwork for it. It is going to attract the Wall Street casino. That's what's coming. And getting a grip on that, the amounts of money you could make or lose, beyond your wildest dreams. It's all that I can tell you. And you will see opportunities. So I'm going to try to start to watch the bouncing ball. I have this thing called a life. As you can notice, Fred Ack got the haircut. 10-year-old daughter was cutting the hair for many years. We sit on a chair. It's like the choo-choo train. I give her the clipper string, put it on number 5. She just zips all around. Well, one day I looked in the mirror and it looked like, I don't know, a cross between Einstein and the Hula Boola man. The man in the mirror, meaning me, said, better get to the barber and let them straighten it all out. Here's what they've done for me. Hey, how do I look? Well, I thank you all for the comments, and hopefully this has brought some insights over to you guys. Something to think about. I try to bring stuff your way that you don't get from all the other talking heads, and I think there's some stuff within this one that you're not going to get from all the talking heads, because now the shift is about to start to move to the trillion-dollar game out there, the shell game, which is Wall Street, the financial world. Think about it. Where can you go steal $20 million or $20 billion, and you can either cop some kind of a plea without admitting or denying anything? I keep all my licenses and I go right back to doing the same scam that I'm doing. I'll just pay a fine. Who wouldn't want to steal $80 million and pay a fine of $8 million? All of us. But that's what the Wall Street world seems to protect. And they're coming. Because why? Because crypto is now beginning to become mainstream. Here's the last important thing that I have on my notes over here. When it comes to somebody that's making that painting, there was that guy that he passed away, but he was phenomenal. He painted this thing, wow, that's incredible. And he was on PBS or something, but he would show you, like, he'd have this stencil, he'd start painting stuff, and as he's starting to paint, you're like, okay, this is not really coming into focus. But then, as he started to add more and more detail, you'd start to be like, oh, wow, look at that. It's the sun shining, and there's a horse, and the barn, the beautiful grass, and the trees. You can see everything on his painting. Well, that's what I think is happening with XRP. They've been adding a little of this, adding a little of that over here, and you're getting to the point where it's all starting to come into focus. But maybe we're not. Maybe we have to hurry up and wait, and I'm okay with that. I don't mind sitting tight, because you know what? 3-4 years from now, if my kids, grandkids, great-great-grandkids I don't have are in the position to be, like, well off, and that could be you. Subscribe, hit the likes button. Any comments you might have, I'll try to answer back. I appreciate all of you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Make all your days winning ones. Thanks for stopping by.